What is the state of the real estate market nationally and here in Rochester, Minnesota? And how is inflation and interest rates affecting home prices? That's what we're going to talk about. I want to thank and recognize Buffini & Company for providing this great report. So this is the information that we're going to review. We're going to look at the state of the market. We're going to get a regional market snapshot. We're going to talk about how you can recession-proof your money. We're going to look at some mortgage stats, buyer and seller profiles, and why real estate is still a great investment, and why you should work with professional. The state of the market. So even though the market is shifting, it's still very much a seller's market. Housing inventory as of April of 2020 nationally was up about 19%, and existing home sales was actually down about 5.4%. And the median home sales price was up 13% to $375,000. So how does that compare with, Rochester, Minnesota? The new listings in Rochester, Minnesota, this would be for May, because I have the actual numbers, is 224 new listings that came out in May, which is down 3% from May of last year. If we look at homes for sale is actually up 13% compared to last year, or May of last year. And then if we look at the sales price, it's $332,000 for the month of May, which is up 10%. Now, something that I found interesting was new home construction. So new home builds as of April of 2022 was 1.72 million, which is about 7.3% less or lower than April of last year. Now in Rochester, if we look at new listings for new construction, we were actually up 22%. So we were up higher in new construction this last month of May versus May of 2021. And the other one that was interesting to see is the median sale price for new construction in Rochester is up 32% to $587,000. And then another thing that's interesting is lumber prices fell 30% from 2021 as mortgage rates hit a 13-year high. So yeah, rates are going up. Some builders might be getting a little worried about building too much inventory, or having taken on that risk, and so there's less demand for lumber, and so price of lumber goes down. So basic supply and demand. And nationally, new homes prices increased 18.7%, which is due to the extreme volatile lumber prices. Plus lumber prices come down, it's possible that we will see the appreciation of new construction to be a little lower than it is now, or to be lower than what it currently is. Doesn't mean that the price of new construction is going to go down, but it's just not going to increase as much. So now let's look at a regional market snapshot. So in the Midwest, which is where Minnesota and Rochester is, we can see that existing home sales kind of stayed about the same. They were down 1.5%, and the median sale price in the Midwest is about $282,000, and that has gone up about 8.7% year over year. So here in Rochester, the median sale price is higher. It's at $330,000, and year over year it's gone up actually 15%. So Rochester is doing or has appreciated more, and it's increased more than the average Midwest. Now the Northeast and the West have kind of have similar numbers. So existing home sales have decreased about 10%, with existing home sales of about $670,000. In the West, they're down 8.1%. Obviously in the West, home prices are higher, 1.14 million. And then the South is the one that I found more interesting, because existing home sales is down 5.7%, but their median sale is up 22%, which makes sense as people are relocating since they don't have to work from home. A lot of people are moving to the South, such as Texas, Florida, etc. So this is kind of a good perspective that kind of tells you, real estate is very local. So in some markets, things could be different. So just kind of a good perspective to keep. So how do you recession proof your money? So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, or sell and then buy a home, you're probably, obviously, you're going to be hit with the higher interest rates. So some things that you can do is, make sure you're reviewing your personal and business budgets. If you have a business, try to cancel subscriptions or services that you don't need. Basically, you want to be pretty lean on your expenses, especially right now, since there's a lot of uncertainty going on. A good kind of goal to have is to have at least 6 months of your personal expenses saved. So if you buy a home, obviously you should always buy a home if you can afford it. If you buy a home you can afford and things change, you have a cushion there, right? And then if you have a business, you want to have about 3 months of business reserves. If you can have more, that's great, but try to make those your goal. And then the other thing that's important is make sure that you are listening to trusted advisors, and try to be very intentional with the news that you're listening to, because a lot of times news channels want to put fear, and when you're acting with fear, you don't always make the best decision. So why is 2022 different? So these are some really good points. So unemployment is really low right now. It's at 3.6%, and companies are struggling to find people to come work for them. There's a high demand still for housing. Obviously, you're gonna have those, home buyers that, based on interest rates and prices, they're just kind of priced out. Unless they get a job that pays more or they can change their financial situation, they won't be able to afford a house right now. But there's definitely a lot of people that are still looking to buy, and those people that are looking to buy are gonna have less competition. So that's not a bad thing for those buyers, right? Consumers are still spending money, and there's definitely a lot of pent-up demand for people traveling. And recessions, one thing that, a lot of times, you see that word a lot, right, in the news and everywhere. So what is a recession? So a recession is caused by a loss of business. So I'm just going to read this out because I think it explains it very well. So recession is a period of significant economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced after a fall in 2 or more consecutive quarters. So it'll be a period of 6 months where economic activity has gone down, and that's measured by the gross domestic product, or GDP, which is the total of goods produced and services provided in a country during 1 year. So a recession typically begins just after the economy reaches a peak. So the economy goes up to a peak, and then it ends as the economic reaches a trough, or the lowest point. So recessions are normal. It's part of like the business cycle and economic cycle. It happens. Obviously it's important to monitor things and be prepared. So like, work on your budget. You want to be lean during these times with your expenses, so you can have that flexibility when buying a home or investing or spending your money, right? So let's talk about mortgage stats. So if we look here at the bottom, the average interest rates on a 30-year fix, you can see from 2008 to 2022, interest rates in 2008 were at 6%, and they've gone up, down, kind of varying. In 2020, 2022, or you've seen like really ridiculous low interest rates. If you weren't able to benefit from these interest rates, don't feel bad. I mean, that was basically like free money that you were getting from having those low interest rates. That's not the norm. So right now, we're about 5.23. I've seen, last couple of weeks it was closer to 6, right around like that 5.5 range as of now. That obviously could change, so it's just kind of good to monitor that and keep in mind that interest rates have been higher in the past and people were still buying and selling real estate. So today's buyer, so let's kind of look at what today's buyer looks like. So today's buyer, if we look at how long they're buying a house, or how long it takes for them to buy a house, so the home buying process was 56 days, which was almost about 30% less, so 40 days less than in 2021. And I've seen this a lot when I work with buyers. They know what's going on in the market, they're ready to buy a house. Once they see something they like, they're ready to move, they're pre-approved, and they tour on average 8 homes. So this sounds like a accurate number to me based on my experience here in Rochester. The top buyer compromises. So 20% of buyers compromise on the price of the home, 21% of buyers compromise on the condition and on the size of the home, and 19% on the size of the home. So if you're a buyer, you're gonna have to make compromises just because of how competitive the market was. I think now that there's gonna be a little bit of a smaller buyer pool, you're gonna have less competition, so you might be able to have a little bit more of a negotiating power. So that'll be good for you if you're looking to buy a home. First-time home buyer statistics. So 34% of all buyers compared to 31. So a big chunk of buyers are first-time home buyers. And what buyers want is they want environmentally friendly features that are important to them, and such as like heating and cooling system. They're also looking at commuting costs, energy efficient appliances, and drought friendly landscaping. So let's look now at today's sellers. So it's been a seller's market for a while, and I think it'll continue to be for some time, at least the next year or so. So whether you're thinking about upgrading, downsizing, or moving to a new area, these insights will be helpful for you. So homes spent a median of 17 days on the market. 88% of recently homes spent less than a month on the market, and sellers received an average of 6 offers compared to the 2021 average of 5 offers. So these numbers will probably change a little bit. Here in Rochester, as of May last month, the days on the market was 4 days, so things were selling super fast. Nationally it was 17 days, so that's still pretty fast. So I expect the number of days on the market to actually increase, and that's also part of like the seasonality of this time of the year in the summer. People are going on vacation, planning trips, so homes will stay on the market longer. But obviously with the interest rates and everything that's going on, that'll also put some pressure on homes taking a little longer to sell. Even in this hot market, an overpriced property will still take longer to sell. So 25% of sellers reduce their asking price at least once. I think a lot of sellers were kind of seeing, you know, the last 6 months or since the beginning of the year, the homes were selling for a lot more. And so as they keep selling for more, they want to kind of keep pushing that market price up. But I think at this point, you're better off listing at market value or even a little under, so you can get the most amount of buyers and then pick the best buyer based on what you're looking for. So it's still important to price your home adequately. And so top reason, what are some of the top reasons for selling? A desire to live closer to friends and family is 18%. The home was too small, and then current neighborhood became less desirable. The best investment, so real estate I feel is still a really good investment because of inflation. Especially, it's a great inflation hedge. Historically, it's performed very well with compared to inflation. 86% of all buyers believe owning a home is a good financial investment. 88% of millennials believe owning a home is a good financial investment, and 71% of homeowners believe buying a property in their zip code was a good investment. So let's look at equity. I think this is really cool to see. The total year-over-year national homeowner equity increase in 2022 to 3.8 trillion. Per homeowner, the year-over-year equity increase was 64,000 and a year-over-year increase of 32%. So I mean, that's a great investment to have that much equity in your home. And finally, it is very important in this market and in any market to always work with a professional real estate agent, lender, inspector, any service professional that you're working with. It's important to have someone that's going to help you, before, during, and even after the transaction. That's how I prioritize my business. I want to invest in the relationships and be able to service them even after they buy a house so that they are successful homeowners. So if you're looking to buy or sell, if you have questions about the market, feel free to reach out. I'm gonna put a link of my website where I have all this information about the real estate market so you can stay up to date. It updates monthly. And if you would like to reach out to me, feel free to give me a call or message me. Thanks for watching.